Alright guys, and welcome back to Miller RC, and today we are doing the review on the Extreme Flight Extra 300 version 2. So let's go ahead and dive right into the review and start with the technical details. This is an ARF, which means you have to supply the motor, ESC, 4 servos, a receiver, batteries, and charger to get it flight ready. So it does not come with any electronics, you have to supply those yourself. Let's go ahead and go over what they recommend to put in this model. First are the servos. They recommend sub-micro Metal Gear servos, high-tech 65 MGs, 5065s, HS70s. There's all sorts of little sub-micro servos available out there. Just make sure they're high torque and Metal Geared, because this is you throw this planer, it's 3D plane, so you want to have strong servos. As for motors, they recommend the Torque 2814 820 kV brushless outrunner motor. ESC they recommend is the Airboss Elite 45 amp. The battery range is a 4-cell 2100 to 2700 milliamp LiPo. And the prop they recommend is a Falcon or APC 12.6. And then for servo extensions, they are recommending 18-inch extensions for the 2 rear servos, the elevator and rudder, and then 2 6-inch extensions for the wing servos. Alright, so let's go ahead, and that's what they recommend. Let's go over what I have in my particular model that you're seeing on the table right now. We're going to go ahead and start from the front and work our way back. As for props, I'm running the XOR 13 by 6.5 wood electric prop. That is a little bit bigger than recommended, and I will go over why that is in just a moment. The motor is a motorlfly 2800 or 2028 750 kV brushless outrunner motor, and I do like this one more than the stock torque motor, just because it's a little bit lower on the kV rating, which means I can swing this 13 by 6.5. Which I believe is, or in my opinion, that's where the sweet spot for this model is. I find it gives the most satisfying amount of thrust and the most amount of flight time efficiency. As for the ESC I have in my model I have the recommended Airboss 45 amp ESC, nothing special. And as for flight packs, I'm using just a standard 2200, this little Admiral Pro 45C. These are super common batteries, so whatever your favorite brand is, I'm pretty sure they would have a 2200 you could use. And then as for servos, I am using the, if you can read that, Pro Modeler DS75 CL high voltages, and here are the specs on those servos, so if you want to pause the video, you can read all the specs and size dimensions right there on the box. Super cool. And then as for receivers, I'm just using a standard 6-channel receiver with a modern computer radio. Alright, so some things I want to mention is that this comes in 2 colors. The one you see here is the official RC Group's Jim Burke scheme, and it looks really cool. I'm really happy with the looks. And then it also comes in yellow, red, blue, and silver, or at least that's what it looks like on the box. I can't clearly tell, but if you like the looks of that other color scheme, you can get that one instead. Alright, so something I want to mention that this model came with, which I didn't think would, is it comes with this spinner right here. It seems to be a common theme. My laser came with this spinner, and also this one. So the newer models I think are coming with a spinner now. And this one was in the box. It's purple. It has 2 screws right there. It's a plastic back plate. The one on there on my model is a 52mm Extreme Flight spinner. And that's just because, me personally, I like the looks of the black spinner. And it also has a much stronger aluminum back plate, which I like, where this one is just pretty thin plastic. So that's why I'm using that one. And then I don't have them on me right now, but it did come with some extra squares of covering. You can see this in my unboxing video, so if you want to check that video out, I'll link that video into the description below, as well as my flight video. Alright, and let's talk a little bit now about the build process, and then about the manual too. The manual is actually written in version 2. My laser was not, so that's kind of that's a really cool idea. And it's pretty basic, the manual. It's very good. It's in black and white, but it has plenty of pictures, and it's very clear. Has you first put together the landing gear and wheel pants. If you're going to use the wheel pants, they are not required. Then it has you bolt on the motor, the ESC. See right there, the motor. All tightening it up, and the motor box and ESC right there. Then it has you put the cowl on, get it spaced right and everything to your spinner, and accordingly it tells you a really good method on how to do that. It has you put in the control horns for all the surfaces, hinge, the control surfaces, the elevator, rudder, ailerons, all that. Insert the elevator, the rudder, put on the tail wheel, wings, and get the linkages all set up. So it's a very straightforward build. There's nothing surprising, and the manual is very good. It tells you where to put everything, and how your servo should be facing on where the servo slot, where the servos mount. The servo spline. It tells you all that. So it's a very good manual. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the video, and then we're going to take a closer look at the plane. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at the plane. You can see I've got it kind of disassembled because I wanted to show you some key points on this thing. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start with the SFG. As you can see, it's a very basic side force generator. Nothing new, it's very well covered. Has the 2 holes to hold it on. Uses these 2 screws with the plastic clear washers right there to hold it on, and it has this clear little plastic spacer that goes on your wingtip right there, and that just prevents the aileron at full travel from hitting the SFG. So very cool that they include that. Alright, so as you can see, I have the cowling off because I wanted to show you this motor box. This motor box is really cool. It was kind of a big improvement that I really like. If you're familiar with the version 1s, you know that it would have a carbon fiber strengthening rod running from here to here, just like this right here. As you can see, those are those carbon fiber rods. Well, the thing about those rods is they were, after you flown around pretty hard, those were the first things to kind of come unglued, and then your motor mount would start flexing. So now that those are gone, this is a super improved, lighter, 100% stronger motor box. It's great. So that was a big selling point for me. And then here's that motorlfly motor. Once again, this is a 2820 and 750 kV. And because of a little bit lower kV rating, that does allow you to swing this XOR 1365 prop 1 4-cell. And I like it. I think that's where the sweet spot is. I've noticed compared to the stock motor, I have just a little bit more static thrust with this, and also more flight time. It's a little bit more efficient on my LiPo batteries, on my flight packs. Alright, so we'll take a look at the canopy now. As you can see, pretty basic canopy. It has these wood strips there to kind of prevent the corners from breaking, and it uses the front tabs right there. It just notches in, and then on the back of the turtle deck, it has the pin latch that you're pretty much used to seeing all extreme flights have. Alright, then we'll go ahead and look at the inside. As you can see, we have the carbon fiber improved structure, and looks really good. So if you watch my laser review, you know that I recommend that you insulate your wires with some like snake skin, or file down these edges, because they do come from the factory pretty sharp, and they have a good chance of fraying the wires, which wouldn't be good. And then the thing I kind of really like about this model is that pretty much there's the only carbon fiber structure. The rest throughout is just standard wood, so you don't have to insulate the wires there. And then as you can see on the upper formers here in the rear, or some of the fuselage formers have these extension guides, and that's really nice. Built in, it allows you to prevent your servo extensions from flopping around during high G maneuvers. As for wing attachment, it has the regular thumb screw and the anti-rotation pins. Nothing new there. Now there's a lot of airplanes coming out with a new wing lock system that it doesn't have any screws, but this is just a small model, and you're going to probably transport it mostly together anyway. As for the receiver, basic setup, 6-channel receiver, and this is that's where the receiver is intended to go. There's a lot of slots for you to zip tie the receiver into place. Alright, so and one thing I wanted to mention on this motorlfly motor is it is a direct bolt-on. You don't have to modify the motor box or anything to fit it. It just bolts right on, so did want to mention that. And then here's the cowling. As you can see, it's held on with 4 screws right there. And then this cutout there, which I'm not very good at, you got to chip the paint and all that. It's not cut out from the factory. I did that myself, and now I have to go find some touch-up paint. As you can see, I'm clearly not very good at that. As for balance, once again, right on the wing tube is a good spot for it when you first fly it. I did balance it there, and did find mine was a little nose heavy, but I would balance it there anyway, because most of the time when you first fly these type of airplanes, your balance isn't on anyway. So wanted to mention that. Alright, and then I wanted to show you these servo arm extensions. These are included with the kit, and you can see these Pro Modeler servos right there. They use the 2 screws, so nothing fancy there. But those extensions there are included in the kit, so you can get wild throw, not wild throw, but throws on the elevator and rudder in excess of 70 to 80 degrees. So very nice that they include those. And then there's the linkage style right there. As you can see, it's the ball link setup, and it's my favorite. So I don't think there's this. It's a very linear and very free and strong linkage setup. I'm going to show you the underside a little bit real quick, just to show you the contrast of the different colors. Here's how the plane looks like on top, and here's the bottom. As you can see, it's very easy to tell up from down and all that. Here's the aileron servo linkage. That servo arm right there, yes, I know it's not long enough. I haven't been flying it with that, and I'm happy with the aileron throw, but I am getting some longer servo arms. It just doesn't look right with those little small arms. So as you can see, the same ball link setup as well, and it works good. Here's the landing gears. You can see it just bolts on with 2 screws. The wheel pants are really basic and all that, but the paint chips, because my roof runway's made of rocks, so it kind of chips the paint. One thing I do recommend that I do is I screw in the wheel pants right there, just so they don't spin during landing, because my other version started to do that. Here's my ESC. It's on the bottom of the motor box right there, placement. It originally was placed right on that piece of wood where the zip tie's at, but I had to move it back a little bit for center of gravity or CG reasons. Alright, didn't want to mention that. Another thing I do like about this structure is if you can see those carbon fiber tubes right there. That's one thing I really like. It's light, and that improves the strength greatly, so really happy that they did that. And then as for the servos, once again, those are high voltage servos, so I am not using the BEC off the ESC. I am using this 250 milliamp 2-cell 35C LiPo to power the servos. Just because, once again, high voltage servos, that's 7.4 volts, gives you the torque and speed that you need to have enough torque and speed for these type of models. So, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in that battery, turn on the transmitter, power on the plane, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the control surfaces go. Alright, so I have the airplane powered on. We're going to go ahead and go over, just see the flight surfaces go. I'm not going to tell you rates or expos or anything. That's a very personal thing. And the manual has some starting points if you want to follow those. So, as for my ailerons, I'm getting pretty much all as I can out of them. Once again, like I said, I was going to get longer servo arms. This is full throw right here that I can get out of the servo arms. I do want just a little bit more. And all that. So, as you can see, they work good. And then low rates here, yeah, I think it's about 60% dialed, or 60% lowered from full travel. And that's, you know, for the long, slow rolls and precision maneuvers. As for the elevator, as you can see, we got plenty of throw right there. This is full rate with those servo arm extensions and the split included in the kit. We get plenty of up and down throw. And then as for low, you can see right there, it's reduced to a little bit more because you don't want to be doing precision aerobatics with that much elevator. Kind of pointless. And then as for rudder, me personally, I don't like dual rates on the rudder. I just leave it 100%. You can see here. And I just put some expo in it. This right here, I can tell you the servo is not anywhere close to being all the way traveled. The servo arm extension allows you to hit the elevator sides very easily. So, plenty of throw on all the surfaces, and it's been the way I've been flying it. But once again, like I said, I would like to get the longer servo arms for the ailerons. It just makes a little bit more sense. Need just a little bit more. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put everything back together and put the camera back on the stand, and we'll go over some final notes, some pros and cons. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and end this review with a couple notes, and then we'll go with the pros and negatives. So, as far as things that I forgot to mention, that a lot of you are probably wondering, is this little 250 milliamp, how many flights do I get off of this? With this, I get about 1.5, so it does keep it at a minimum, but me personally, I think if I had, I would recommend me a 300 to 350 milliamp battery. There's plenty of room in there to get it, you know, right where it needs to be under the spar and everything, and it can definitely take the weight, and there's plenty of room inside to house a little bit bigger of a receiver pack if you do use the receiver pack method. Alright, so as for pros and negatives, I honestly haven't found too many negatives. Just make sure you know that all that carbon fiber in there. Just make sure that it won't fray any of your wires. You know, just that it comes from the factory sharp. It does kind of add a little bit of building time, so that's maybe the only thing that I kind of honestly don't like. But as far as the pros, you know, once again, this is just like the version 1 Extra, which was super popular, probably the best 48-inch version out of all of their airframes. Just like version 1, this is even better yet. It's stronger, lighter, it's going to last longer and everything. After flying this thing, I can totally see why version 1 was a top seller on their website. It's an exceptional airframe, it really is. I have an unboxing and a flight video that shows the flight characteristics and all that, and I'll leave both those videos in the link in the description so you can check those out. So like I said, it flies super great, like the best 48-inch I've ever flown, better than my MXS I reviewed a couple years ago. It's got that extreme flight quality in there. Everything fit, everything's nice and tight, straight, and all the incidences are on spot on. So once again, it has the extreme flight quality. And then the spinner, and like I said earlier, the little squares of covering, they just give you like scraps in the factory, but it is pretty nice they include those, because you know, if you cut a hole or if you puncture the covering or anyway, you will have some covering to patch it back up. So that's really cool. So yeah, once again, like I said earlier, I have 2 other videos on this model, especially the flight video. I will leave a link in the description so you can go check that out. And then, as far as that, that's all pretty much I can think of this airplane. So yes, this is the review on the Extreme Flight Extra 300 EXP 48-inch version 2. Thank you guys for watching, and for the money, I definitely recommend it. Superb flying airplane. Thank you guys for watching, and tune in next time.